Hey, good morning, everybody. Peter Kima here. It is Friday. It is 8:30 in the morning. We are on time today and excited to be here. As we always do, as Brent Musburger always did and still does for my beloved Raiders, you are looking live, speaking of the Raiders, right here at my home office. Yes, and we are still at our home office right now, although there are some rumblings and some thoughts about opening up our regular office now, at least to the team. With some restrictions. We're starting to give some thought and some consideration to that. Anyhow, good morning to you. I'm excited that you're here. Really pumped up. Got a lot of fun things to talk about today. One of the things I was going to mention last week that I want to talk about today is the idea of indoor baseball. And I don't mean the games. I just mean the practices. You see, we got a phone call from our coaches, who we absolutely love. And they've secured an indoor space for us to practice some baseball. Apparently, the facility that we're talking about in Raleigh is one that's practicing social distancing. I don't know how I feel about practicing baseball indoors to begin with, unless we've got a full facility. But I certainly don't know that we're comfortable enough yet to send our son to an indoor practice. Now, I've seen a lot of baseball teams outdoor practicing baseball outdoors, and it's probably one of the more socially distanced sports outside of that little white ball that you can play. It's a lot different than basketball, which has a lot of full contact, that kind of thing. But we're a little hesitant about this. We're grateful for the guidance of our coaches and the leaders of our organization. They've done a great job leading the way and making opportunities available to us. But I think we're probably going to pass on the indoor baseball portion of this. Mostly because, in indoor baseball practice, a lot of standing around with kids, waiting for their turn in the cage, that kind of thing. You can't really get outdoor work done indoors. Hey, good morning, Susan. And so we're probably going to pass on that. But I'm curious, has your son, your daughter, or somebody in your family picked up whatever sport they were playing or whatever dance, whatever activity they were doing before? Have you guys picked those back up just yet? I'm curious to know what other people's thoughts are on this. I've got a bunch of good friends. Good morning, Lisa. I've got a bunch of good friends that are out there that have kids playing ball, and it's kind of all over the board in terms of what their response has been and what they're going to do. Some people are just ready, itching, and ready to get back and feel like things are going to be fine. Others are very cautious, and I'd say we probably fall somewhere in between. We're probably more apt to let Camden go out and play a little outdoor baseball than we are to let Cole go play some indoor basketball at this time, for obvious reasons, the two different sports and their locations. But I'm curious, is your son or daughter, are they playing ball yet? And if so, how did you come to the decision whether to let them go to practice or what have you? Now, I watch states like Missouri. In the state of Missouri, they've got full-out baseball tournaments as though nothing has changed. They're doing regular practices. Nothing has changed at all. Yeah, Susan, I'm with you. Anyhow, I was more curious than anything else. So I've got a question for you, and I've got a tip for you. So that we love our coffee here. And if you know me at all, that I'm from Massachusetts. And the fact is that Kima runs on Dunkin'. We love our Dunkin' Donuts coffee, right? And I make a drip coffee every single morning. We've got a special coffee maker. And it turns out great, and I love it. However, my wife has migrated, right? We used to do drip coffee. She then, we experimented a little bit with a French press, which I still like. She moved into pour-overs, and she absolutely loves pour-overs. And truth be told, if I had the patience to take the time to make a pour-over, it's a better cup of coffee. That being said, yesterday she made me a cup of coffee as I was going out with Ozzy to do a little volunteer work. And when we did, we took a cup of coffee with us that she made. So she just took basic old Dunkin' Donuts ground coffee and made a pour-over. If you're in a hurry, you don't have time to grind your beans or anything like that, guys, it is a great little life hack, because that was one of the best Dunkin' Donuts cups of coffee I've ever had. It was fantastic. So you don't have to grind your own beans. You don't have to be bougie. You don't have to order organic beans from, faraway lands. You can just get your good old standard Dunkin' Donuts coffee and make yourself a good pour-over. So how do you drink your coffee? Are you a drip? Are you a drip coffee drinker? Do you take the time to do a pour-over or a French press? Tell me about that. I'll tell you something that's been really cool for us. This Christmas, Santa brought Jennifer a hand coffee grinder, right? One of the old-fashioned ones, wooden box, all metal material on top, and you crank and grind your own beans. The feel of grinding those beans and the sound of grinding those beans is so cool that everybody in the house, except for my 16-year-old, my lazy 16-year-old, everybody else in the house likes doing that. So I'm curious, how do you drink your coffee? Share with me. Lisa, you saying yes, my daughter has been working 2 jobs most of the time. Yeah, good for her. Good for her, taking good advantage of this opportunity. But I'm curious, what kind of coffee do you drink? How do you drink it? Share with me and let me know. And if you have one of those coffee grinders where you grind it yourself, tell me if that's not one of the coolest experiences. Better than hitting the little button where it just goes zzz, right? Anyhow, I digress. So I'll tell you what we've been talking about a lot at our house. And I'm certain many of you have been doing the same just based on the fact that I've driven by Home Depot and Lowe's, and those parking lots are packed. We've been working on house projects, and not ones that we can undertake ourselves necessarily. These are bigger house projects, and you've probably heard me talk about a few of these, but in the last, 60 days or so, 70 days, we have put in a brand new hot water heater under the house. We replaced one of our 2 heating and air conditioning units. We took out about $10,000 worth of trees in order to put in a brand new septic system. Our old septic, while it works, was on its hind legs, if you know what I mean. It was just barely moving along. And so we put in a brand new septic system. We had the house power wash this week. By the way, Eco Power Wash out of Cary, some good people. Look at one of my posts earlier this week. If you're looking for somebody to power wash your house, great job. Great guy, great job. So single man operation, but he does fantastic work. Super nice. And now we're in the discussions with a landscaper to come in, because if you look at my front yard right now, it is nothing but one big pile of good old American North Carolina red clay. We're on an acre, and we've got nearly an acre of nothing but red clay right now. And listen, if NC State graduates are studying weeds and you want to come study weeds, we've got your weed heaven right here. We've got every variety of weed you could want. Dunkin' Donuts K-Cups. I like you, Lisa. That's exactly what we drink at the office. And you want your coffee fast. I love it. So all these major projects here at the house, we're also getting our brick walkway taken a look at next week. All these major projects, most of these were necessary, ones that had to be done. Our house was built in 1986. But I'm curious, what kind of home projects are you considering taking on or have taken on, whether it be indoors or outdoors during this time? And what kind of hacks or tricks or ideas do you have, where you might have saved some money and or some time? And I know for some of you that the hack might be always have beer in the fridge, that kind of thing. But I'm talking more seriously today about the types of things that you've done during this COVID-19 stay-at-home quarantine kind of timeline. What have you done to your house, or have you thought about doing to improve your home? So, again, this yard, I can't wait. We've hired somebody to come out. We're going to put in the yard. And so this brings me to my next question for you, and that is grass. And no, for those of you that are thinking about grass, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about lawn, right? I'm talking about varieties of grass. Are you a fan of fescue in North Carolina? So I grew up in Massachusetts, where you can grow beautiful grass, beautiful fescue. Of course, you can only enjoy it for 2 months out of the year because it snows from August to April. But the reality is you can grow beautiful. The soils in New England are fantastic for vegetables and grass, and the weather's good for fescue. But are you a warm weather grass person, meaning Bermuda or Zoysia or any of those kind of grasses? Or are you still trying to fight it here in North Carolina and grow some fescue? If you're growing fescue, are you using chemicals to keep your lawn looking beautiful? You painted a shed. I like it, Lisa. Good. And do some painting. I like it. But what kind of grass do you prefer? So we've made a choice, and I'll share that with you after it goes down. I'll walk the yard with you. We'll do a Facebook Live out there. But I'm curious, are you a warm weather or are you a fescue? If you're using either one of those, who do you use here locally to help treat your grass if you're hiring somebody to do it, right? This is kind of an investment for us, so I want to make sure that we take care of this. But we're also eco-friendly in the sense that we're not big fans of just having raw chemicals dumped all over the yard that are not good for the environment. In fact, we have a well, right? And so we're on a community well here. And so we've got to be cognizant of that as well. No matter what our neighbors choose to do, this is our way of making a difference. So I'm curious, who do you have that you use to treat your yard, those kind of things? Now, I love mowing the yard, and I'm excited to get out here and mow the new yard once we get it installed. But share with me what you're doing. So you're having your master bathroom renovated. Listen, you've had so much going on, Larry. God bless you, and good for you. It was stuck in 93. So 5 years ago, our house was stuck in 86, and we did several kind of updates as well. And there's several big ones left to do. Hey, good morning, Kristen. Good to see you. Oh, wow. Well, so your kids are really busy. Look at you. So, in my post today, if you look, you'll see that I mentioned raising 16-year-olds. So, Kristen, I could probably, based on what you just posted, and Lisa, what you posted earlier about your daughter, I could probably use a little guidance here. So I love my 16-year-old. You know that Cole and I are big buddy, little buddy. We've been great friends and father-son and quite frankly, I'm his biggest fan and also his biggest nemesis and his biggest critic. I have asked him this week, because of some things that happened previously, for him on his own, without me dragging him out of bed, to get up at 6 o'clock, get a few chores done. Just show me that you can do it. So we accomplished it twice, sorta, this week, and that was it. I'm curious, what are you doing with your teenagers right now? 14, 16, it doesn't matter. What are you doing with your teenagers right now to help educate them, teach them? You know, I put them through a financial peace course with Dave Ramsey at the beginning of this quarantine. Going to spend some time teaching my 16-year-old how to cook here shortly. There's some things like that we can do that are practical, but I want him to show me some self-accountability. What tips, tricks, like, you know, when I see these posts, Kristen, like you posted today, what kind of things did you do other than, you know, my strategy of just beating the heck out of my kids? I'm kidding. But what did you do to get them to show some sense of responsibility? And maybe I'm asking too much. If I'm asking too much because, you know, all the other teenagers are sleeping and he tells me, if I'm asking too much, you tell me, you know, what am I doing right or wrong? And I'm open today. Listen, I'm vulnerable as a parent today and could really use some guidance. So, hey, good morning, Miranda. Right back at you. Thank you for raising your cup to me. Today is Friday, Feed the Firemen. Friday, Feed the Firemen. So we decided starting last Friday that we would go to the 5 fire stations in Wake Forest, 1 per week, and my team and I would buy lunch for these firemen. Last week we went to fire station number 1, which is the big station in downtown Wake Forest, and we fed all the firemen there, and then we went back and had a small little social distance pizza party back at our office, which was fun to see everybody together again. Doing station number 2 today at 12 noon, and I challenge you in your community, wherever you are in this country, to find first responders, nurses, or whomever, and find a small way. Buy 1 nurse lunch today. Send a gift card to a hospital and just randomly say to any nurse you want to give this to. Find some small way today to make a difference on a first responder. And let's do that every single Friday. So we're going to be feeding the firemen for a few more weeks here. And if you're interested in joining us, text me, PM me. You come with us. We'd love to have you. I just need to know so I can buy more pizza if you are coming. Anyhow, Friday, Feed the Firemen today. Super excited about that. Really fun things have been happening lately. I've been watching these on TV and then so proud to have been able to take part in a couple of these. And now these birthday drive-bys for these young kids. How fun is that? So I had a chance a couple weeks ago to take my family. We drove by a good friend of ours. His daughter had a birthday, and we got a chance to drive by and hopefully put a smile on her face. And then this week, Mehdi, who's one of our commercial brokers, his son Sammy had a birthday, and we had a chance to go do that as well. And he told me for a solid hour, kids and parents drove through the neighborhood waving and talking to Sammy and what have you. So really, really cool. I kind of hope that we don't lose some of that in terms of, you know, a way to celebrate people. So for what it's worth. What else I have for you today? Let's see here. Wake Forest made an announcement this week that I know many people are not going to be happy with, but I know it was a very difficult decision for the town. The town has decided to cancel the Memorial Day flag raising ceremony, the Friday Night on Whites, which is just this really cool downtown shut off the street celebration where they have live bands and what have you. And then the other one was the family movie nights at Joyner Park. All 3 of those have been canceled for obvious reasons, gathering and you know, social distancing and size and what have you. Whether I agree with it or not doesn't matter. Whether you agree with it or not might matter to you, but it doesn't matter to me. What I will tell you is I raise my cup to those officials having to make these difficult decisions in times like this. They're not going to make us all happy, no matter what they decide, no matter how logical or illogical you think they are. These decisions are not ones that are easy to make. So I raise my cup to all those people who you know, truthfully, while they might get paid a stipend, they're truly volunteers. So they're not getting paid enough to put up with what they put up with. But these decisions are difficult ones that impact a lot of us. And so, you know, while we talk about first responders, our leadership at any level, no matter whether you agree or disagree, are having to make very, very difficult decisions. So I raise my cup to them. Let's see. What else do we have for you today? Thriving businesses. Oh, you know what? Forget thriving businesses for a second. Let's talk about this. You know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is National Barbecue Day. And you know what I've got defrosting in my refrigerator right now? Ribs. We're going to do 3, 2, 1 ribs on the Traeger tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. So couldn't have been more appropriate. I didn't do that on purpose. It just kind of happened this morning. I woke up. You see, I do this really cool thing. I do this newsletter for my family every single morning. We call it Kima Communication. And I go through, I get all these morning news reports that get sent to me. Some are fun, some are not. And I go through and I pick out one-liners of a bunch of things, and I throw 6 or 8 of those into a quick little email, send it out to my family, and I usually include a quiz or a riddle or something like that as well. And I'll bury things in there to find out, make sure that my kids are reading these things. But like there's Fortnite news this morning, for example, that I included, or at least Epic Games. So I know that my son Cole will read that one. Anyhow, so we do that, and that's been an awful lot of fun. But that's where I learned about the fact that it's National Barbecue Day tomorrow. So the last thing I'm going to talk about before we get into a little bit of real estate is we are still in the middle of the gauntlet. Your prayers have been received. I'm hanging in there. Keeping my head above water. For those of you who don't know what the gauntlet is, that didn't tune in last week, the gauntlet is this. Every single May, my wife has a birthday on May 5th. She's a Cinco de Mayo girl. Which, side story to that, she's Cinco de Mayo. Camden is 777, and Colt is Valentine's Day. They all have like really cool birthdays, and then I'm just out in the middle of August just floating out there. I think Camden once determined that it's National Dog Day, and couldn't be more appropriate for me. Anyhow, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the middle of the gauntlet. So she has her birthday in the beginning of May. A week later is Mother's Day. And by the way, I hope all you mothers had a great Mother's Day. And then a week after that is our anniversary. So May is just one of those days, or one of those months rather, where I've got to be on my toes. And I'm prepared. I've got all 3 this year taken care of. And I feel like I've done a good job, and I'm excited about it. So far, we're 2/3 of the way there. Your prayers and your support have been very, very much appreciated. But anyway, so the middle of the gauntlet right now. And then the last thing I'll tell you before we get into real estate is this. For those of you that didn't see it, this rock right here. Monday I woke up, and it was the first day during this whole quarantine thing where it really kind of got to me, except for the first couple of days when nobody knew what the heck was going on. Monday I woke up, I think it was Monday I woke up, and I just wasn't feeling it. I was actually feeling kind of rough around the edges. I was feeling kind of down. I couldn't put my finger on it. I noticed it, and I recognized it, so I knew that it was a mindset thing. And then in the middle of the day, this little girl, Olivia Van Benthysen, painted a rock and put it under my mailbox without knowing that I was having a bad day. But in the middle of the day, this was left under my mailbox for me. And I thought, how cool is that? How cool that like things just kind of aligned themselves so that this young girl who was trying to make a difference in somebody's life certainly did on a day where I needed it, ended up finishing the day really strong, had a really good day, and this was a big part of that. And of course my tribe, my support staff, right, my team, whether it be at real estate or here at the house. But how cool is that? I just thought that was the neatest thing. Amy, I'm glad you got your Kima cup. Yes, hey, everybody say good morning to Amy out in Colorado. If you need to buy a house in the Denver market, Amy is your girl. Perfect weekend for National Barbecue Day. Miranda, anytime the weather gets above 85, you think it's perfect. I know that. All right, let's talk a little bit about real estate. These are some interesting numbers right here, guys. So we try not to pound you too hard with numbers, but I think there's some important things to watch. Active listings, to me, is the number one thing to watch right now. And the reason for it is it's what's going to drive our recovery and or our continued recession as things start to change. So in our market, right now, today, we have 6,303 homes on the market. Guys, that is low. That is really low for right now. However, let me tell you something. It's the exact same numbers we saw in March, right? It's the excuse me. It's the exact same numbers we saw in March. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. But here's the deal. Last year on this day, we had 7,844. 7,844 versus 6,300. Guys, that's a drop of 19% in available homes. Now, I believe we would have had a decrease in available homes this year anyhow, because the market has been so hot. I think that our lack of inventory has been trending below last year to begin with. And I think that's what's driving our market in terms of pricing and especially those price points under $400,000. Let's look at pendings. Last year on this day, we had 7,800 pendings, 7,812. This year, 7,493, just down 4%. So the same number of buyers, guys, are still out there right now, right? Think about this. Coronavirus has been with us now, or quarantine, about 8 weeks, almost 9 weeks. Think about that for just a second. Our pendings are pretty darn close. That means people are still buying homes. People aren't listing homes because they're afraid to have people in their houses, and completely understand that, right? I get it. You to each his own. But it's our lack of inventory that we have to really watch right now, because people are still out buying houses. Let's look at close. This is really interesting. You know I love the rolling 12-month close, right? So right now, if you took our last 12 months, we have closed nearly 43,000 homes in our market, guys. 43,000. 42,293 to be exact. On this day last year, if we look at a 12-month rolling window, 39,971. Even with the last 60 days, even with the last 30 days, our numbers are up considerably in closed. Months of inventory is where it hurts us. Last year, we're sitting at 2.3 months of inventory. Very much a seller's market, no doubt about it. Guys, 1.7 months of inventory. Now, 1.7 months of inventory. It is a seller's market. If you're thinking about selling your home and you're feeling comfortable enough to do virtual showings and things of that nature, consider it, guys. Give us a call. Let's talk about a strategy and a safe way to get your house onto the market, because quite frankly, you have very little competition in most price points. So let's look at this. Check this out. If I looked at the last 60 days, just the last 60 days, we have closed 6,818 homes in the last 16 days, or 60 days, 60. That's down from last year at this time, which we would expect sitting in the middle of a quarantine, from 75.12. We're only down 9% in the market. If you'd have told me last year, guys, 2020, we're going to drop the market 10%, is that okay with you? 2019 was an incredibly good year in real estate. I'm telling you right now, every real estate agent would raise their hand and say, yep, we'll take that. We'll take that, especially in the middle of a quarantine. Look at this, April. April of 2019, we closed 3,660 homes. April of this year, last month, middle of the quarantine, 30 to 45 day closes on average, right? So these houses were put under contract in the middle of a quarantine. 3,432, 6% down. So the closings last month were only down 6%. Closings over the last 60 days are down 9%, meaning closings are actually lower in March than April. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call. There are safe ways for us to talk to you about getting that done. If you don't want us in your home, we can do it via Zoom or however way you want to. But the reality of it is people are still buying homes. Showings are way down. The looky-loos are gone. The people that are thinking about buying, they're gone right now. All right? We're not gonna tip them. I think that's where the 6 and 9% is coming from. However, the buyers that need to buy, because again, people buy and sell based on life changes, right? Buy and sell because somebody has passed away or somebody was born. Somebody got married, somebody got divorced, somebody had a baby, somebody just outgrew their space. They're working from home. They need more space. Life changes is what drives the market. Life is still changing, guys. Meaning people still need to buy and sell. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Also, if you're interested in getting into real estate or you're already in real estate and you want to join a team, talk to me privately. We are looking. We've got opportunity right now that I think is pretty attractive. So if you're interested, let us know. We would love to talk to you. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope somebody finds you with your good luck rock, and I will see you in a week.